Justin, can you tell me a moment in your life that was one of the most difficult moments, but turned out to be a blessing?
Oh, just drop straight into it. You're like, I'm going to have a couple of curveballs. Okay, a life.
I told you there'd be a bomb at the start.
I'm sweating already. I think one of the standouts for me, and it was a few things that led into really changing me, was I was working with a big wave surfer, Mark Visser, and it was an awesome experience, travel around the world, capture him surfing in these awesome locations, dream job. But there was so many little, near-death experiences. Let's put it that way, where stuff would just go wrong. I had parachutes that didn't open properly, unload skydives. We had trees fall because you're filming around storms. So I guess the lesson from there is it's like you kind of get to push and put yourself into a space where you're doing your job. I'm capturing these moments, but you're loving it, but you've still got to be aware of what's going on around you, because you can just get caught up. And I think that flows through into everything. Like, we can get caught up with our to-do lists and stuff in life, but it's just stopping, taking that step back, taking it all in. It's like, I've chosen to be here. Like, let's enjoy this. And if we can make our decisions and stuff from that place, then it's just more fun, I think. So, I'm not sure if that really made sense. It made sense in my mind.
Well, no, it makes complete sense. But I want to understand what it feels like. You're on this shoot, helicopters, parachutes not working, big waves, life-threatening kind of moments. What's it like when you're back in your home in your comfy bed and you have that moment where you're like, I did all that? What does that feel like?
It actually now, because I've been out of that stuff for a while, it actually now feels like a previous life. Like, almost like we just jumped timelines. It's like, did that stuff really happen? Because some of it was crazy. Like, you're on call, for watching swells and whatever. Someone's like, hey, you want to come to this family barbecue? You're like, oh, if I'm here. Like, so it takes over your life for that. And look, I wouldn't trade it for a second. It was an awesome experience. So now, though, it feels surreal that even happened. Yeah. So I liked it. I guess there's some pressure off on that. And then, you kind of evolve as you go.
Nice. And a bit more context for those viewing and listening. This was probably, I guess, at the peak of your video business career and when you were a documentary filmmaker. Let's go into video business, starting a video business and the love of video. Where did that start from for Justin Brown? Where did it come from?
So I'm old now, 40. And so when I was growing up, cameras, like my parents had, handy cams, but they weren't handy cams. They had big, like, VCR things and whatever else. And so my dad was filming everything. And you go back and look at those home movies and I'm always, Dad, can I have a look? Can I have a turn? Can I film something? So I was a pest from like day one with that stuff.
Do you still have those?
Yeah, still got them.
Yeah, how good.
Yeah.
How good is the beauty of, whether it's a wedding film or a home video or a Christmas or something like that, 10 years down the track, 20 years down the track, it's absolute gold and it's so precious.
And this is the weird thing about it, because this is the struggle I find now. We've got these amazing cameras in our pockets and I'm caught between, I want to spend this moment with family, with friends, but I also want to capture it so we can show them. Like, we sat down with the kids. I've got 2 kids. We sat down with them last night and we watched some old videos of them when they were born, whatever else. And it was so good. But then in the moment, is a struggle. And I think that's only getting worse.
For sure. I agree. Like, you just want to be in the moment. But down the track, when you listen back, that's when it's like, oh, I'm glad I did that. So I always find that struggle as well with having kids. You don't want to have a camera in front of their faces all the time. But I actually discovered the other day, I was recording voice memos of like bedtime and story time, like only a year or 2 ago. And just having the audio of my boy reading a story or making his own stories up. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And this is going to be even better in, his 21st birthday or wherever it might be. So there's a magic to that. Absolutely.
I think there's a sweet spot in that you want to capture enough. Like, we went to a concert the other day and it's just phones everywhere. And you're kind of trying to watch, but there's someone got their phone up in front of it. So I don't know. I've never gone back and watched those. So I tried, if I'm in a scenario like that, I'm probably not recording much. So it's just interesting. I think it's only going to get worse for people drawing that line.
Yeah. Everyone's got a camera in their hand. You love the home videos. Dad had the camcorder out. When did it become a time for you to go, I want to do this as a career?
So my first client ever was Surf Life Saving Australia. I've been in the surf club, making videos of us racing. I used to race those rubber duckies, rescue boats. And because I had these videos that we were shooting, they would play them at their dinners and whatever else. It's like highlight reels. Contrasting that to people's photos is like, draw a bit of a crowd. So they asked me to shoot some stuff for them, some training, and it kind of went from there. It's like, I can get paid for this, and then
And that's a good first client.
Not a bad first client.
Not a bad
just a little company.
Yeah. And did that start a ripple effect? Like once you did that job, did that get the next job?
Yeah, look, I think I've just been incredibly lucky. The opportunities just really fell in my lap for a lot of them. Like even the big wave surfing thing just fell into my lap. Just randomly meeting people. I think I've had a very lucky run with that stuff. Yeah.
And so that was freelance Justin Brown, or you had your own video production company, and you did that for how long?
Well, before I had these grey hairs, it was probably 15 years professional.
15 years?
Yeah. So there was overlap between, there was a transition period as well. But yeah, I got to work with some of the biggest broadcasters, some amazing people, and hopefully got to, get their message out. And that's really the exciting piece for me. Yeah. As much as I love being, behind the camera, encouraging people and whatever, it's really just helping people get their message out. And I'm sure it's exactly the same for you. Like that's, and there's a lot of similarities in what we do, and even your background and everything as well. I think that's what's so cool about this.
Yeah. That's why I really was so excited to talk to you today because, we both had video production companies. I still have a video production company and I'm not on the tools as much anymore. And I think I get the feeling it might have been the same thing for you. I'm not sure if you had a family at the time or not, but what was the moment when you said, I'm trading time for money here, being behind the camera lens, jumping out of helicopters, risking my life. This is probably not sustainable. What was that moment like? Was it a slow transition, or was it one night you just wake up and go, I've got to find something else?
It was a slow transition, but there was definitely some key points. And having kids definitely shifted things a lot quicker, I guess, to getting off the tools more. My daughter was very young and I was working from home. So I had to keep going between having a home office and then having an actual place. And so I'm working from home. She comes in and she's like, oh, you want to play? And I think it was a Saturday or something. I'm like, oh, I can't, I'm working. Oh, daddy's working again, and walked out. I'm like, oh, dagger in the heart. Like, I don't want that to be her memory or whatever, or that's a normal thing. So I was like, I need to get out of this business because it's almost like the golden handcuffs. In that the more it works, I mean, you enjoy it, so you've built it. But then you get to the point of, or I got to the point of, I was chasing bigger and bigger clients that were paying more, but then there was more stress. I mean, the projects dragged out and whatever. So it was good. And again, I wouldn't change it, but it got to the point where there were some clients I took on for the dollars that I didn't love. So then you're in a position, which I think is one of the worst positions. It's worse than having a 9-to-5 job where you're working for someone else. So if you're hating it, there's no one to blame but you. You've put yourself in this position, and then I guess that was an eye-opening thing for me. Yeah. So which is where then the shift was, how do we find the fun? Like if this is my business, and I've built this, who do I want to work with? And if it's not about the money, we want to still have the lifestyle and everything, but the right clients will come if we get clear on who they actually are first. Yeah. Yeah.
Did it become a monster for you, or it was just the client here or there that was just like, this is, not where I want to be?
I think there wasn't ever a clear, this client is, but there was a few, like I had some good paying clients that were in like the chemical space. And I didn't really, I don't agree with what they're doing and putting chemicals and stuff out there, but I took the job, and I guess you learn as you go, right? You learn the things like, I like this, I don't like this. So the work wasn't bad, but the overall message behind it that they were putting out there, that I was helping them put out there, and to sell these things, I was like, okay, this is not a fit. So over time, you build these filters and things. It's like, we need more of this, less of this, instead of just chasing a dollar.
And I think people maybe watching and listening are going, what are you talking about? Like, you know, I'm in an office job and you guys are sitting there whinging about having a video production creative job. And yes, it is the best job ever. It can be incredible. But I often, you know, sort of mirror it to, let's say, a builder. Just as an example, obviously they're very different jobs. But if you're a builder and you want to build a building company, at some point you get off the tools and you're creating beautiful homes for people. But you're not necessarily out there with the nail gun and making it all happen and not being there with your family. And so at a time, I think you have to get off the tools and transition into a different space. And the beauty about our line of work is that there are so many options. You can literally do it. You can go into directing. You can go into audio recording. And it's just the sky's the limit. Photography, video, like there's just so many different things now. You decided YouTube.
Yeah, I put the tools down, or clients down, let's put it that way. So I still make videos. And the crazy part about that is that I'm actually on camera, and I'm someone that used to hate having my photo taken. I would hide behind the camera. Like, I enjoyed it.
But why YouTube? Why did you go YouTube? Why did you, like, that's not like you're going to get a paycheck straight away.
No,
You've gone from getting, I mean, you could transition, you're doing video production and building YouTube. But like, how long did that take? How did you
transition was for quite a while. So I started the channel with my brother, Mike, and we had no idea really what it would be. We had some startup businesses. Obviously, I had the production company. So it was kind of, we started YouTube on the side. And I'd worked on a documentary project called The Abundance Code with some mutual friends of ours. And that really changed the way that I look at some of these businesses that some really super successful people had. So we were flying around the world interviewing the nicest people, but they all had these crazy businesses, and they're all centered around just adding value to the internet, adding value to humanity, helping people with the stuff that they're interested in, and giving a lot of it away for free, like the best stuff away for free. And then their business models were something different, like working one-on-one or whatever, but they were helping a lot of people. I'm like, there's something in this. So Mike and I shut down a startup business that we had, helping people make videos. It was real estate agents. I'm like, what if we just started putting this stuff up on YouTube to help way more people and just see what happens? So we had no real plan or goal or anything with it at that point. It's like, let's just put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there someone, when you were making that documentary, The Abundance Code, was there someone in particular where that really struck with you and you were like, wow, the way they're showing up and doing business is obviously working. Yeah, I want to take something out of there.
It was really the common thread. There wasn't anyone in that. Like, they did so many interviews for that, and they're like 3-hour interviews. So you're just hanging on every word these people are saying. But I'm still like, oh shit, I'm filming here too. I need to watch everything. And so I was more engrossed in the what they were saying than even focusing. And I was like, there's something here.
Yeah.
So there wasn't standouts, but there was people like Jeff Walker, who is big in the online product launch space and helping people get their message out.
Yeah.
JB Glossinger, there's John Assaraf. So some big names in there. Yeah. And they all had that underlying thread of, let's just add value. Let's help people. And there's so many different ways that you can make money. And this is where it's interesting, because so many people don't want to put their good stuff out on podcasts or YouTube or whatever. They're like, well, that's what people pay me for.
Yeah.
Well, what if you helped so many people that were never going to work with you or whatever? Like, let's just help people.
Yeah.
And there's other ways that we can monetize.
Yeah.
So that wasn't clear to us when we started.
Sure.
It was like, let's just help people with this, because clearly it's something that we like. And I think starting from that place too, where if you're creating your channel or putting content out around stuff that you geek out on, then you don't need to be motivated for it.
Yeah.
You still have those days where you're like, oh, I could really sleep in, or I don't feel like doing this today, but it's not weeks and months.
Sure.
If you're hating it. If you love it, you're going to do it. You're going to be back on that horse quick. I think that's a big piece of it.
So how long did it take in the YouTube world? You know, you're giving value out for free. You're just doing something because you love it and sharing it. How long did it take? And were there moments where you were just like, not sure if this is a good idea?
So how long did it take? Well, it's still taking, right? It's still going. It's still growing. But it was 6 months into our journey, we had 49 subscribers. I'm like, come on, I'm a video guy. What's going on? Surely the videos should do better than this. And
sorry, pausing there.
Yeah.
6 months in, 49 subscribers. How often are you sort of
one a week?
One a week?
Yeah. Yeah, like, okay, we're doing something wrong. Or there's a lot of myths and stuff that people have heard, like it's too late. Would have been easier if you started. Like, it's too many people on there now. It's too overcrowded. All of that stuff. Or YouTube squashing small creators.
Were you believing any of that?
Yeah, at that point I was. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe all that's true. Whatever. So we kept pushing through. And
sorry, timestamp. Where at? What year are we talking?
If we it was about roughly a year into it, a year and a half.
No, but what year? 2000
now?
No, when you started the YouTube.
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
So 10-year anniversary.
Years. Yeah.
Congrats. Okay, 2014, 6 months in, 49 subscribers.
Yeah. And look, with the 49, I created extra channels. I created a channel for my mom. I created a few extra on my business accounts. I all subscribed to the main one just to make it look a bit better. Like, come on. So it really
47, 45.
It was like, 40. Yeah. So, it wasn't working, but our approach of build it and they will come, like, that doesn't work. Like, we're just throwing stuff up there. I was throwing out video tips. Like, oh, here's 3 ways to do this. And no one can find that stuff because no one's looking for it. So we needed a whole rethink on it. And so we got to the point where we were going to give up. We jumped on a call because Mike lives in a different country. We got on a call and I'm like, hey, I'm done. We're making these videos. I'm hating it. I'm on Groundhog Day or Groundhog Week of come up with an idea on a Sunday, film, edit, whatever, release it on a Sunday, and then we go again. Like, it's not fun. It's not making us money. It's not helping anyone. It's not like it's taking away from my life. And he was exactly the same. So he's like, all right, but before we shut it down, why don't we just try it again, but really try to look at YouTube as a business? Like, what does it need as a system? And really try to pull it apart. And it's like, it's a search engine. It's a content platform, but it's a search engine. So we really started to lean into what are people typing in? What are people searching for? How do we then show YouTube that like this could be a fit? So we're almost like stacking the deck in our favor or shooting fish in a barrel instead of going for everyone. We don't need everyone to watch our videos. We want the right people. So that shift in approach, we've been going down that rabbit hole and really just focusing on search.
Yep.
We don't need to be the next Mr. Beast. We don't need to create content that everyone watches, but we know that there are things that people are typing in. And for any one of us as clients, potential customers, all of this stuff, what are their questions before they come to you?
Right.
How do we show up for those?
Yep.
As absolute like top of funnel, if we think marketing, absolute, before they're ready to buy, they're going to YouTube for free shit. They're going to learn to see, is this something I can do myself? What's involved in this process?
Yeah.
So our goal then was to start to show up at those things.
Wow.
And that's really now what we teach.
So complete paradigm shift. I'm not just putting anything on YouTube. I'm going to look at what people are searching for, create stuff relevant to them and help them directly with that. Can you remember one of the early videos which sort of was more, search engine optimized and that worked, that you started to see numbers rolling in? You're like, we're onto something here?
See, the hardest part with that too is that when you target search, it's never quick. Nothing's quick. And so it could be around 2 to 3 months for a change that you make to filter through. So it still took some time to see, okay, we're onto something here.
Yeah.
But once you start to look at how many searches per month a particular phrase has, like best editing software, right? We know people are interested in the best editing software. How many people? And what are they typing in to find that thing? So we're able to identify the keywords, the phrases and things that they're typing in and how many people. So we're gauging demand. And so we started then speaking directly to that. Like we know, like how do we make them feel like if they clicked on our video that it was the one for them?
Yeah.
How do I speak those things where they're like, oh, this guy's speaking directly to me? So it was almost like you have further insight as to who the video is for. And that's really where it started to take off. So there was no real clear point. It kind of just slowly happened. And we're like, oh, right, this is that snowball effect. Because we went back to some of our older videos and changed the titles and things.
Yep.
And so there was a couple that we did, how to film professional videos on an iPhone, how to film professional videos on Android, which was coming from that previous business. Those had tanked, flatlined. dead, lost in the YouTube abyss. We went back, we changed the titles, made them more search friendly, updated the thumbnail images, and then they took off. And both of those now, still pretty much 10 years on, are still getting views today.
How many views do you think they're up to?
One of them's over 1 million. The other one's at like 900,000.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So at what point did you say, when did you say no to your last video production job as a video production person?
Well, that's an interesting one. See, I always said if the right client came along and it ticked all the boxes, so it was cool people doing cool stuff, it had a clear end date, because productions can blow out, they drag out. And so a clear end date, then I would take it. So I think my last one was for Jets Australia, just some promo stuff for them. And if another one came along, I'd consider it. But at the same time, I'm not looking for it.
Sure. You keep the door ajar, but YouTube's your thing now. And
we send them your way.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Oh, that's really inspiring. And so today you are nearly 1.8 million subscribers on YouTube. Something's working for you, and
there's poor people looking at my face. Like,
is it Chris Martin? Maybe they're searching for Chris Martin or something.
I had to Google it. We started seeing these comments through. Chris Martin's teaching YouTube. Like, okay, who's this? Yeah, okay, with some similarities. He's a very good-looking guy here.
Can you sing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Definitely not Chris Martin.
No.
And you've got a great community. Where do you feel the most joy in your work now? Which is a different ball game, I guess you're playing.
This is interesting. The shift for me was, and you touched on this earlier, was with the YouTube journey, it's not all smooth sailing, right? There was a point where I'm like, hey, even now that this is working, I'm not enjoying it. And the shift for me was I was a tech camera guy. I liked making the videos. But then I learned that what I really like isn't the making the videos. It's having them out there and the impact that they have. So for me, when I was remaking videos, we worked a great strategy for YouTube. If something's worked, let's double down on it. It's updated every year. And it became pretty mind-numbing until I refocused it. I'm like, well, why am I doing this? And there's a real, like we forget, numbers on a screen, viewers, whatever, they're real people. And so once you start to really look at the impact you can have with your content and the ripple effects and whatever from that, that's the piece that I'm doing it for. So I'm never like, yes, it's filming week, let's go shoot some stuff. I'd much rather I get more excited when it's like, all right, video's going out. Yeah. Let's see how it's going. In terms of, are people liking it or whatever? Like, is this helping people? Because that's really our content. Yeah.
What's it like in the comments section?
Sometimes it's brutal, right? Everyone's free speech, right? I've definitely had some great ones, but look, the more the channel's grown, the negativity drops off.
And you get back to everyone. Most
we did,
people.
And look, it's a great strategy starting out to try and respond to engage with as many people as you can. But we have someone on the team now that helps with that. But there's no way you could. It would be multiple people's full-time job to sit there and respond to people.
Sure.
So yeah, we try to answer the big ones.
People need to be able to help themselves too. You can only help them to a certain extent.
But it's an interesting thing too. Like, I don't know how many videos you comment on. Like, I watch a bit of YouTube, but I hardly ever comment. Even if I think it's a great video, I'm like, oh, it's good. And that's it. So there's a certain type of person as well that does comment. Yeah. And there's a certain type, again, in that subset that comments negatively. Yeah. So you can't gauge it just on comments, because I know I love videos and I don't comment on them. Yeah. And I know that I'm not alone in that. Yeah.
There's serial commenters out there.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. You know what I find really interesting, which we haven't touched on, is you've run this business with your brother the whole time. What's that like? What's it like running a business with your brother? He is in a different country.
I think that's why it worked. There was definitely a point where we probably would have fired each other if we weren't brothers. I know he's been frustrated with me, and the same back the other way. We are complete opposites, but we also have the same goals. So his approach is totally different to mine, and I think we work well together, bounce off each other a lot. Yeah, and it's just two different perspectives growing in. So it's
And the roles and responsibilities are: he's the back of house business guy. You're the good-looking talent.
I have no idea
at the
what
front.
he does, but he takes half the money. He's more the behind the scenes, the strategy, team, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. which is good. There's some of our platforms and things like email that I've never logged into. So I'm super grateful for that because I know there's a lot of people that are doing it by themselves and they got to grow their email list and all of this stuff. So I love that I can be on the more what I think is play fun side. And I think to him, that's the stuff that he geeks out on. So that's where that works really well.
Yeah. Did I see, I mean, you've got an official plaque from YouTube or something like, you've probably got a few of them now. YouTube send you things to say you're a certified YouTuber. You've got this many subscribers. What does that feel like? You're actually a YouTuber now? Do you like that term?
Look, it's a weird one because I know it's a lot of people's goals they send you a plaque at 100,000 subscribers, which is, pretty cool. And then we got the million one. There's not another one now until you hit 10 million. So there's a big step for that. And who knows? But it's I think the interesting thing with the subscriber number, because it's a lot of people's goals, is to hit that. Is that you can have a lot of impact, help a lot of people, have a really successful business revenue without the big numbers. If we look at where YouTube's going, it used to make a difference. If you had big subscribers, your videos would get pushed more. That is not the case and hasn't been the case for a long time. YouTube wants new, recent, like relevant stuff for people. That's all it cares about, is putting a good video in front of the right people. It wants to give people a good experience. So I know a lot of the stuff I watch, I don't subscribe to, but the algorithm's that good that it's going to be on the homepage when I get there. Or when I search for stuff, then things I've seen before, channels I've watched before, they're going to come back up towards the top. So it knows, it's tracking everything. It's a real creepy level that it's there to give you a good experience. So I think with that, the subscriber number now means less than it ever has before. So it'd be interesting to see if they keep it. I really think that they will remove it at some point.
Okay. But at the moment, great news for people if they were starting out and they want to get stuff on YouTube.
Massive opportunity. There is they'll get all the views because they're a bigger channel. Every new video starts at 0. And a great example, look at our channel. And you'll see that we're not hitting big numbers day one, week one. Some videos take off quicker than others, but if we know that it's around 2 to 3 months, if we're optimizing for the search side of YouTube, then your video can stick around for years afterwards and perform.
Nice. What is your advice to someone starting out in YouTube?
I'd say go into it without big expectations in terms of the time frame, but also that realize it's a long game. You hear this all the time. YouTube's a long game. It is unlike any other platform. It is now the one platform to rule them all. Podcasts, live streams, it's got shorts, like it's ripped that totally off TikTok. So they're trying to have it as one content platform, like your website, where you can have different types of content. It doesn't mean you need to do them all. So my advice would be to test. Try different stuff and not to see what the audience likes, probably more so to see what you like. Because again, if you like it more and it's fun for you and it's easy for you to do, then you'll do more of it because it's not a quick win.
And it's a bit of a combination though, right? What you like and what people want to learn. And so the search engine optimization comes into it and the keywords and all of that sort of stuff. But you want to be able to like what you're doing and talking about.
Yeah, I think if you were doing something just for the numbers, if we look at one side, then that's going to wear pretty thin. If you were getting no views, but you loved it, then you'd probably still stop at some point, maybe. And there's obviously people that are like, I'm just doing it because I enjoy it. Awesome, nothing wrong with that. But there is a sweet spot in the middle where you enjoy it and it does work. And even we have a member in our community who has one of the most engaged audiences I've ever seen, and she helps people create clothes for hamsters. Not just pet clothing, hamsters specifically.
Wow.
So whatever your niche, whatever your thing is, you're probably not alone with that. So that's where I say, like, the priority, I would say, let's work out what people want around the stuff that you want to talk about. Yeah.
And now at Primal Video, your YouTube channel and your company, you have incubator programs and you help people grow their YouTube channel. Have you got any success stories? Has anyone had any success with you guys?
No. It's all just,
Does it work?
No, it doesn't work. It's all just shut down. Good. We got this. I think that's the beauty of it. And that's the piece that we love, is watching people grow and the testimonials and stuff. As I said, we've got people that aren't even hitting big numbers and they're crushing their goals, like change their business, change their life, quit their 9-to-5 job, and are now helping and impacting people and building revenue streams that they couldn't have had before, like affiliates and sponsors and those kinds of things. But yeah, we've got some that have the vanity metrics as well. We've got some that have the vanity metrics and no business. And we've got others that, I guess is more in line with what we teach is it's not about the vanity metrics. It's
what do you mean by vanity metrics?
Vanity metrics is in like high subscriber numbers.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Because I mean, I've got some good friends that have like millions of, what are they called on TikTok? Followers, subscribers, whatever, millions of following on TikTok. And they're living on the breadline. They're struggling. Whereas you don't need much if you're strategic with the content. If you've got the right eyeballs, then you can have some real impact with them. So we have quite a few members that have channels around 1,000 subscribers that are doing multiple 5-figure brand deals every month. So, I mean, you can definitely replace a full-time income and more just with a small audience. And then obviously that grows and scales over time. Yeah. So it's not about the subscriber numbers and whatever. Yeah.
And so what's life like now for Justin Brown? The goal that I heard at the very start of all of this was you wanted more time with your family. Your daughter said, you're working again, Dad. Do you have those moments anymore? Do you have a bit more free time? You said after this podcast, you're done for the day. So I'm guessing.
Yeah. Look, I think it's always, there's always the carrot dangling. Like there's always more we can do. And I think the biggest lesson I had to learn was it's okay to have leaky buckets in terms of there's always more we can do. There's always, we could jump on this project and go and do this, but we're going to leave money on the table. It's perfectly fine. And I wasn't okay with that at the start. It's like, we need to make money. We need to survive. I want this lifestyle, whatever. Being okay with leaving money on the table is probably one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn because you say yes to something, it's saying no to something else. So for us, I really like that book, Hell Yeah or No by Derek Sivers. Okay. It's a good filter. If something's not a hell yes, then it's a no or it's a not now. So I try to keep it as a fun lifestyle-based business. It's not a full-time job, which is awesome, so that we can come hang out, cool people doing cool shit. And that's really the thing. I think we're only here for a short period of time. How do we enjoy this? And that's coming from the place of I had a successful company. It had its ups, but I also had some clients that I chose chasing big projects, big dollars that I'm like, hey, that's not really in line with where I want to go. So I think it's an ever evolving thing. I needed to go through that. And I think for any one of us, the lessons and, we're all right where we need to be, but it's knowing that we've got the choice to where we go next. So for me, I like to have my calendar pretty empty, and then it's more that we get to do something instead of have to do something. Yeah.
That's amazing. It sounds like you've got a really great balance going on. It's nice to have that flexibility on your calendar. Is there anything next for Justin Brown and Primal where you want to go and what you want to experience?
I think we're now looking at other opportunities and other ways that we can expand that. So I've actually not taken a step back, but we're looking at how do we grow the channel and the business more. So we've got other presenters on the channel as well.
Sorry about the videos that I did, by the way.
Hey, you did 2.5 million views we were looking before. So yes, Tom's presented for us.
Yeah. Still not getting stopped on the street though. The vanity metrics.
Neither am I. And this is, I think it's part of living in Australia. Like our audience is US by far. Australia's 6 or 7 on the list of countries that watch our stuff. So I like that. I like that we get to kind of have a normal life, because I know people that have, they're getting stopped all the time. That's not me. That's not what I'm doing it for. I think I would be weirded out by that, I think. So I like that, we can share our thoughts and opinions and help people. I think that's the fun part.
Amazing. Maybe get Mike back on the YouTube channel a bit more.
Yeah, look, there's always this running thing is like, has this face held back the business? Would Mike, he's a good looking guy. Would the business be so much further along if he was in it?
Yeah. Test it for the next decade.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, I'll step back. No, I don't want to do what he's doing. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. I'm glad that this was a hell yeah for you. I hope it was a hell yeah for you to do it.
Definitely. Yeah.
And one last final question. Where is Justin Brown at most peace?
I think family and beach. And if it's family at the beach, it's good. I also just like I really get a high from helping people with this stuff that I enjoy talking about. So geeking out on tech and cameras and gear, or building a business online, which is really what we've now built the business around. So hanging out on like a live Q&A, that's where I'm like, cool, how do I help? Like that to me is fun. Zero
Yeah.
prep, not prepping slides and any of that stuff. So we're trying to, I think for anyone, you want to find that place. And that's why I say your question about starting a YouTube channel, just test stuff. Because that wasn't me. Justin starting being scared of being on camera and whatever versus now I'm like, cool, how can I help? This is fun. So I think it's a process that evolves, but yeah, those would be it. Family, beach, and maybe hanging out and cool conversations, cool people.
So awesome. JB, I'm so happy you've found your place. You can tell that you have because you're so good at it and you show up so naturally and authentically when you're doing it and you're helping millions of people around the world. So thank you for coming in, sharing all your knowledge, and yeah, very inspiring from one video production person to another. I love what you're doing, so keep going.
Thank you very much for having me.